Welcome back to the workshop and to my latest project, a retro-futuristic laboratory in miniature. This diorama is the first glimpse into a story I've been imagining for a while now. The setting is an alternate timeline where the space age of the 50s never ended. Instead, new discoveries allowed for faster than light travel, and a ship of colonists were dispatched to a newfound planet where they could build a new utopian society far away from the Cold War on Earth. The new planet was habitable. They quickly shaped it into a comfortable space-age home. Unfortunately, 50 years into the project, they lost contact with Earth. Without supplies and support from Earth, their new society started to collapse. In just a few years, most of the colonists were thrown back into a pre-industrial world where scientific advancement was mostly set aside and trying to survive was more important. The descendants of these colonists mostly lost the skills to use technology because it just wasn't paramount, although there are some eccentrics who are still reaching out to hear from long-lost Earth. Most people in this world live as humble farmers, just trying to support their families. Some of the large cities descended into total anarchy overnight, and some areas scrapped their spacecraft and machinery to start mining operations to survive. In this series of builds, I'll be telling the stories of the residents of this alien planet, starting with the laboratory of a rogue scientist who is determined to make contact with Earth. I started off the diorama as usual, with foam as the base, foam core for the walls, with texture from coffee stirrer sticks. I used styrene rods for pipes, 3D printed some furniture, and I hated it. It's okay, because in the course of this build, I decided that this 28mm stuff is not for me. I'm approaching 40 and can't see a dang thing from my eye holes anymore, so I upped the scale to 135, or something like that, which is easier. I think the main focal point of the build, the telescope, turned out great. I looked through my box of plastic bits and cobbled together something that looks like a telescope. Because I needed a very specific shape for the room, I decided to design the shell of it using Tinkercad. I needed room for a coin cell battery and LED lights, and I thought it would be easier to make this prefab in multiple parts. And I modeled all the little buttons and control panels as well. It took much longer than I want to think about. I smoothed the printed pieces with UV resin and cornstarch and wet sanding. If I was smart, I would have made these pieces magnetic, but I'm not, and I didn't. Everything got hit with a layer of Rust-Oleum spray paint, and then the buttons had colors assigned. For the LED lights to shine through, I had to Dremel out part of the console. Next time I do something like this, I'll just model that into the build, but it was a good quick fix for now. The monitors that I printed needed some bright colors, so I used some Cricut vinyl in day glow colors and drew on the displays. Back to the telescope, which is ready to paint. It's a little hard to see, so... okay, alright, that's better. I have an assortment of paint colors, plus some Tamiya masking tape. The idea is to mask off areas for painting, continuing the color scheme from the rest of the lab. In my big box of stickers, I found some Gunpla water slide decals and some stickers that I bought in Tokyo made for models. My only regret from the Tokyo trip was not spending more time buying models and other miniature supplies that I can't find over here. It's time to light the lights. I had a bunch of these flexible LED noodles, and while I would have liked to have used a single strip of LEDs instead, I didn't have the right supplies. I figured this would offer a more diffused light anyway. Some plastic sanded down offered more diffusion for the screens. Now the moment of truth. Hot gluing this baby together. It was pretty scary, but worked out better than I expected. The telescope is next. Now it's time to weather. Metallic highlights were added with Rub and Buff Silver Leaf and silver nail polish.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
For the next part, I had to slice up one of SpongeBob's relatives. This was all just to create some alien-looking moss. I spread it out on some wax paper and let the paint dry, and then glued it in place. To really nail the aesthetics of a mid-century workplace, I looked up old work safety posters for inspiration, which actually ended up being very scary. I designed some in Canva to fit with the sci-fi setting, along with some motivational posters and newspapers reporting on what was going on the planet at the time. These all got sized down to scale. These got printed out, cut out individually, and weathered. I used paper wound up to make a tiny coffee cup that was left behind, and I added the final touches. I'm very happy with how this project turned out. And then I realized the only thing that's missing is my scientist. In the next video, I'll be making a custom miniature to fit in the scene. Until then, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time as I finish this project.